friends, I'm Lisa. When I first returned to China, I had already lived in the UK for 3 years. 3 years is not a long time, and I didn't feel any change in myself. But when I went to China, I realized that I had changed a lot in just 3 years. When I arrived at my destination and was crossed the road with my suitcase, I suddenly didn't know how to cross the road. The roads in the city where I live in the UK are not very wide. Even the roads in London are not very wide. However, the roads in China are generally very wide. But there are no places for pedestrians to cross quickly. I was standing at a crossroads with people and cars together. The crossroad in the UK have a pedestrian crossing where you press the button, but in China doesn't. So I was a little overwhelmed and finally followed the crowd to cross the road. Furthermore, when I went back to China, I exchanged a lot of cash. But it turned out that every places accept mobile payment. In China, WeChat Pay and Zhifubao Pay are the main payment methods. No one used cash. If you give them cash, they will not refuse. But they don't have cash to give you change. I had no choice. So I installed the payment app. After installing it and learned how to use it, I found it so convenient. Not only can I order takeaway, but also fruits, food, and even medicines. I once used the app to call a taxi from the door. When I walked to the road, the taxi had already arrived. You know, my home is only 6 or 7 meters away from the road. It's super convenient. It was summer when I went back, and the weather was very hot. Most households in Chinese city has air conditioner. And every public places has air conditioner, so there is no need to worry about being too hot. I sit at home, turn on the air conditioning, and bought watermelons and food with the app. There are many shops and fruit shops in every community in China, so I bought half a watermelon on my phone. And they could deliver it to my home. If the watermelon is not sweet or delicious, I can exchange. The Chinese community I'm talking about is complex of dozens of high-rise residential buildings. It's super large and surrounded by walls. There are 24 hours security guards at the door and many entrances and exits. People living inside also need to use card to enter and exit, so strangers can't get in. There are shops at the entrance or inside the community selling fruits, vegetables, or daily necessities, as well as cake shops and express delivery, self-service counters. Restaurants are also around. Everything was very convenient, but I found it so convenient that I became lazy. So I could have everything I wanted delivered to my home without leaving the house. I was not used to the climate in China, and I was sick for a month. My sister was in other city and ordered medicine for delivery. It was delivered to my house. I also found that I don't like crowded. I'm used to the uncrowded environment in my city in the UK. In China, There are so many people everywhere, and you have to queue for a long time to go to a restaurant. The funniest thing was, because I was tainted before I went to China, I went to a restaurant to eat, and while I was waiting, the waiter said something that I didn't understand. He thought I was a foreigner, so he asked a waiter who could speak English to come out. And then I immediately understood. It was very funny. Another time, I was walking in front of someone pushing a bicycle behind me and bumped into my foot. I immediately turned around and said sorry. And the other person looked at me in surprise. I got used to say sorry and thank you. In the UK, I became used to queuing and giving way to others. But when I returned to China and I was waiting for a bus, no one queued and I gave way to others who pushed in. As a result, 3 buses came and I didn't get on because no one was queuing. I really don't like it. I'm queuing up to pay in the supermarket in China. People are so close to each other. A man's arm touched mine, but he didn't care at all. I don't know what people are in a hurry for. Also, in Chinese supermarket, fruits and vegetables in bulk. People put them in bags and then weigh them. There is no queue at the weighing area, and people are screaming to get in. So I prefer to buy vegetables with mobile apps or buy them at the vegetables store in the community where I live. I lived in China for decades and was used to it. But after living in the UK for only 3 years, I found myself changing. The pace of life in China is very fast and I can't adapt to it. I think it is maybe that I'm getting old and I may prefer to live in the UK like a retired life. Some people ask me if I miss home. I'm not that kind of person who misses home. The UK is my home. I'm exactly very worried about returning to China in future. Although I really want to go back to eat those delicious food. I'm also afraid to go back because I was sick for a month the first time I went back. I went to the hospital for a check-up, but they didn't know what was wrong. Later, my husband was very worried and changed my flying tickets and asked me to return the UK immediately. But guess what? I was fine the next day after I came back home to the UK. It's so strange. Now, I haven't been back for other 6 years. The UK is my home, and I used to being here. I miss the food in China, and I want to travel around the country. But I prefer the UK as a place to live. Every place has its own shortcomings. So I think the one that suits me is the most comfortable. By the way, I found out a Chinese mobile phone can hold 2 SIM cards at the same time. So this is my story. And what do you think about? And write your comments to me. And see you next time. Bye.